He jumps over here. He jumps. Why does he do this? Well, eagle-eyed viewer, I'll tell you why he does this. When he collides with this wall, it interferes with his macro, and his macro jumps.
Yeah, that's not how that works. If you aren't caught up yet, basically, there's another Dream controversy, and this time he's being accused of cheating in parkour. So basically, a few days ago, this guy called Sandwich Lord made a video which gave a lot of strong evidence of him cheating. And a lot of it was just like game mechanics and stuff, like tick perfect jumps or something. So there's a couple things that I missed that I looked around and I haven't seen anybody else point out, so that's why I'm making this video. Okay, so the first thing is this weird jump, which seems to just happen for like no reason, and I guess Sandwich Lord thought it was like a bug or something, because he said the wall interfered with the macro, which it didn't, because that's not how parkour hacks work. Okay, to demonstrate, I built like the exact same thing in the single player world. So basically, in the clip, Dream walks up to the wall, and then suddenly he just jumps off because of the macro. But the wall has nothing to do with this. If you look at what the parkour hack does, this is all it does. It automatically jumps at the edge of blocks. It has nothing to do with walls. By the way, this chat feedback thing is basically, it sends a message whenever you toggle a hack on or off. So if you turn it off, then nobody will know when you turn on a hack. So this is what happened in the clip. So Dream goes up to the wall, and then he knows he has to go around, so he goes to the side. And because of that, he hits the edge and triggers the macro. This is what it looks like in real speed. And it's from the other side. So when you hit the wall, it does nothing, because the macro is working as intended. In fact, in this slow down clip, you can see that he hits the wall for like a few ticks before hitting the edge and then jumping. And really, you could have just done this. It's pretty easy and also doesn't trigger the macro. But what I'm thinking is he thought that the wall caused like a bug or something, so he shifts around it and he jumps around it to try to avoid it because he doesn't know. So that wasn't really any like new evidence, and more just so clarification. But the next clip is definitely a lot more suspicious, and I'll explain why.
You can just gape in awe for yourself.
That wiggle right there seems like such a weird movement, but it actually has a really good explanation. And I'm bringing this up because Sandwich Lord just kind of ignores this and moves on to the next section. So what Dream does here in these jumps is he presses himself up against the pane and slides. And when he reaches the edge, the macro triggers. And he reacts to that by angling, so because he knows it's a Neo and you have to change your angle. And this is really hard to do legit because it's like such a weird timing, jumping like the instant you're off of the pane. And technically, yeah, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's evidence, but why would you do it if it's so much easier just doing it normally? And this brings us to the wiggling. Dream wiggles here because in his mind, he's already preparing to angle for the Neo. So when he gets to the edge, he kind of tries to like predict when he gets to the edge, and then he changes his angle. But then it's not enough, so then he goes to the other side, and he does the same thing, and then he goes back and forth a couple of times until he hits the edge, then he reacts to the jump and does the Neo successfully. And you might be thinking that that's a bunch of BS. Like, how could a random person possibly know what Dream was thinking? But if you've been paying attention to the background footage, you might have noticed it's all hacked. Sometimes it's really blatant. Cause back in around like 2020, I also used to cheat in parkour. And when I'm talking about this thought process and the wiggling part, these aren't like conscious thoughts or anything. They're habits and muscle memory. I'm talking from experience because I also made these movements. Anyway, those are my 2 cents on the situation. Hope you learned something, and don't be hateful. Bye.